Hey everybody, Michael Kunman here, coming to you today from the beautiful Western Australian Golf Club and of course Perth Golf Centre. And today we're going to basically just run through the standard bunker technique. Now, the standard bunker technique, I guess has changed a little bit over the years. There's a few people setting up slightly differently to kind of what I'm going to show you today. And whilst I have changed my setup and kind of technique a little bit, I haven't gone to the extreme of what some people do with the closed stance. I have nothing against it. I think it's great. It works really, really well. I just prefer to teach this method. I feel it works really quite well, especially for myself, and I've had some really, really good results for my students as well. So I would basically say if you are struggling with bunkers and the setup, give this a try, see how you go with it. You can always, of course, go through and utilize that other technique, try those as well. Whatever works best for you, hopefully will get you out of those bunkers and enjoying your golf a lot more. So the old kind of setup procedures for bunkers was the setting up really, really open, golf ball forward and swinging across your feet line. Again, can it work? 100%. So I'll just set up here, got basically my bunker over here. So my target's in that direction, get that set up there, exactly. And then if I have my feet line really excessively open, again, can it work? 100%. So we set up pressure on our lead side, and we get that golf ball flying out, and you can see Blair there is just going to pan around. Be pretty happy with that shot. I got it a little bit heavy in that one there, and I tend to find that when I do that open stance or extreme open stance, my good shots are good, my bad shots, whilst they still end up okay, I tend to kind of get them into the heavier style, so a little bit behind the golf ball. I dare say that's just because I can't get my weight into that lead side enough. And I find that when people do that, they tend to do that also. So they'll either hit thin shots or fat shots quite a lot. So what I've done and what I do now is basically is I get my setup a lot more neutral, kind of like you would for an iron shot or a driver shot. So I've got my target basically lined just here. And instead of having a really open stance, what I would do is basically just have my feet parallel, your train tracks analogy, as you would normally have from a standard shot. Where the difference comes is ball position stays inside lead heel, like I would have normally taught in the past anyway, but the lead foot I love to get really turned out. So if we had an alignment rod on our heels, this is where it kind of comes into, and it looks like we're still quite open. When we turn our lead foot out, it actually makes our feet, if I put in a stick on the ground, makes it look open. So when you're taking your setup and you turn that lead foot out, when you look down, it's going to feel like you are standing a little bit left when you're actually not. Now, when it comes to stance widths, I always like wider than hip width. Creates stability, and it allows you to basically lower down a little bit, because the whole perception, or the whole part of bunker shots, is to try and catch the sand, of course, before the golf ball. Normally about an inch behind the golf ball, we're doing pretty well. So we set up, we have our lead foot turned out, golf ball position inside of our lead heel, feet and stance width a little bit wider than normal, so kind of wider than hip width. And from here, what I love to do is get our lead knee and just let it fold a little bit over your lead toe. So that there in itself helps to create basically your pressure into that lead side. Because a really important factor with bunkers, as I was saying before, is trying to hit about an inch behind the golf ball. So we hit the sand propels that golf ball out of onto our green. If we get our pressure into our lead side and maintain it, we're going to get a lot more consistency in impact location into the sand. If we take our setup, keep our setups on our stance 50-50, and we start getting a little bit of weight transfer, impact location becomes a little bit more difficult and variable. When it becomes variable, it's very hard to judge how far that golf ball's going to go. Are you going to hit 2 inches behind? Are you going to hit golf ball? You're never quite sure unless you have really good coordination, really good hands, and you've practiced a lot. I would always say that this is a little bit better from a technique standpoint, a little bit more consistent anyway. So we'll run through that again. So we've got our setup here, turn our lead foot out, a little wider than hip width, pressure onto our lead side, club face open. Not for everything. I would just say for standard wise, get a lofted club, sand wedge, 58 degrees, 60 degree, turn it open a couple of degrees, then take your grip. We're not going to go excessive at the moment because we're just hitting a standard bunker shot. If we open it a little bit, it allows us to use the undersole of the club a little bit better, allows us to use the bounce and grind a little bit better. Once again, I have no issues whatsoever with having a square face. Closed face I do, square face is fine, open just a little bit as our stock. Always a nice way to go. So we open our face just a little bit. From here, we lower our hands ever so slightly and we dig our feet into the ground. It lowers our center of gravity and it allows us to hit sand first. So we put our pressure into our lead side, open our face a little bit, lower our hands and dig our feet into the ground. Now when we make our swing, we're making sure that we're not swaying back and forth. That's a big, big no-no if we do that. Again, going to cause a lot of inconsistencies in low point control. So we've got our setup, pressure into our lead side, and when you make your swing and your follow through, I want you just to try and watch where I finish. And as you'll notice, I've maintained a lot of pressure on this lead side. I haven't fallen backwards, which again, a lot of people do because they're trying to help that golf ball up and out of the bunker. That's going to cause you a lot of bad shots. I've maintained that pressure into that lead side. It gives me a nice, consistent impact location, and it gives me a lot of variability on what I want to do in relation to how far I want to hit my shot as well. So let's do that again. So I'll just go just on the side of this line here. Got my setup, ball position inside my lead foot, turn that out, open my face slightly, lower my hands a little bit, and then from here, a little heavy on that one there, but ended up okay as well. Probably need to practice my bunkers myself, but as you can see there, if we basically do that technique, I didn't catch that last one perfectly, still ended up probably what, 6-8 feet from the pin to the right. I'd be pretty happy with that. It's not the best bunker shot in the world, but it's going to give you much more chance in getting those up and downs and saving a bunch of strokes as well from here. But as I said, so once you get this technique down pat, it becomes not the easiest shot in golf, but an easier shot than you would normally imagine. So you're not really afraid of getting in bunkers in the future. You can be a little bit more aggressive hitting into greens, knowing that your confidence levels are quite high and you're going to get the golf ball out a lot more often as well. So hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully it gave you some information that you probably haven't heard before in bunkers. Hopefully it could have even just refreshed a few different points there as well. Give it a try, leave comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.